All right, everyone, welcome back to the channel. And in this video, we're going to be going over a trade recap. This isn't a trade that I actually took, so it's more of like a back test on the trade that took place this morning during New York. Currently, it is the 12th of May at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So obviously, trading hours are over. New York for me is anywhere between 8 to 11:30 in the morning. And this one came a little bit later. But yeah, if you guys like the content that you're seeing on YouTube, I do have a mentorship. The link is in the description below. My whole entire goal with this mentorship is to make sure that this is your last stop in your trading journey. You know, we just want to make sure that you don't go anywhere else after this, and that everything that you find in here, weekly Zoom calls specifically, there's probably about 20 of them, of just us doing our weekly Zoom calls every Sunday at 4 p.m. EST. And we basically go over all the trades for the week. We do some analysis for the upcoming week. And yeah, I basically send all the trade setups that I'm getting involved with here. So like this morning we took a trade on gold, the setup was sent, and then we ran for 3R. Yesterday we took a trade on EU. For 3R, I'm updating you on management. At this point in time, many of the people watching this already know how to manage trades properly. They already know just about almost everything that I do. And yeah, so if you guys are interested in something like this, and you can basically, follow my coattail and see how I'm trading, you can definitely join the mentorship. It's $60 a month. With the setups I send in here, you can be making that back in the first day, depending on the equity of your account. So yeah, so it's a bunch of fun stuff, and I've really good feedback from my students. So without further ado, let's get into this trade. So obviously on the NASDAQ, we're obviously bearish. So on the 4-hour, we just broke this low. So we will go ahead and mark that as a 4-hour structure. Okay, so at some point in time, we're expecting a pullback. After any kind of 4-hour low is broken, you expect a pullback to at least equilibrium price leg from the highest to the lowest point. And as you can see, we just tapped equilibrium today. And this is not where the sell came from. But let's just go ahead down to the 15-minute and take a look. So from the high of 4-hour to the low, yeah, so this was the trade. So at any point in time, price comes back to reach equilibrium, or anytime you're in this discount range, you want to be selling. Okay. And also, we can note here this morning, this was a trade again that I missed. Unfortunately, I was keeping my eyes on it, and I just completely missed the entry. So we obviously had some liquidity yesterday, so we'll go ahead and mark that. Anytime you want to take a trade, I want to take a trade. I always try to make sure that there's some sort of liquidity or liquidity pool that's taken before price enters into your POI. Okay, so we have some liquidity built up. Basically, I want to see this whole entire pool, this whole pool of liquidity pool before taking the sell, and also the fact that we're just reaching equilibrium between this high and this low for shorts here. So would make me comfortable to look for shorts here. I'm just basically going over the trade as I see it. So let's go ahead and back test it a little bit. Let's back test to we have a beautiful 10-minute POI. Depending on how you draw your POIs, it doesn't really matter. I would advise you to go back and see what works for you best. So I'm going to mark this as a 10-minute supply. At this point in time, the liquidity is taken. These are all valid areas to look for shorts from. There were no confirmations met, so ultimately we take a trade. But once we reached this POI, it was 10:50 in the morning. Really getting into the later hours of being up here, and yeah, you go down to the 1-minute time frame. This is exactly what I'm doing. So as soon as we tap into our 10-minute, let's go ahead and play market and see when we get our change of character. So right here, we already get our change of character. If you zoom out a little bit, you can see that we swept the highs here, which we mark as chalk top, and then we sweep the lows, which completes our chop bottom. And in this case, NAS, let's go down to the 30-second because I do use both the 30-second and the 1 minute. In this case, NAS really just came back to the decisional point. And what I mean by that is a lot of times the NASDAQ will come back to the extreme. Okay, so here we go. This is where I would have been looking to sell. And that's totally okay. Sometimes there will be a first or second chop before you actually get your trade. So right now, there was obviously no confirmations met. We would have been looking to short off of this 1 minute area. This was the extreme. This orange candle here was the one that this was the supply that caused the demand to go. But we didn't get any candlestick confirmation. So it would be obviously good to trade there. So let's get rid of all this. And at this point in time, we've just swept the highs again. That means that we need to see this logo, the demand high, in order to complete the chop. Okay, so now at this point in time, we swept the highs again. This is the low that needs to go because it is the last demand high. Chop. And right now we have our chop completed. So we swept the highs. And we swept the lows. Okay, now this is the actual trade setup. Okay, so there's two areas we can look to short from. There's this one at the extreme, which NAS does like to revisit. Other pairs like EU and the Aussie dollar don't necessarily like to revisit the extremes, but rather the decisional point. So this was the other area that we could have been looking at to short. Like I said, I missed this trade, but this is exactly how I would have went about it. So after we sweep the lows, I'm obviously waiting for price to come back into one of the supply areas that swept the low. We don't actually know which one caused it. Could have been this one or could have been this one. You only have two options here. So let's look for our candlestick confirmations now. I want to see a nice bearish engulfment. I want to see intention and volume with a candlestick. That's definitely, that's enough for me to go ahead and short. And even if you wanted to wait for another one, you totally could do that too, okay? But at this point, that bearish candle is enough of an engulfment for me. You can see that the body is much bigger than the wick. And if you waited for this one, probably would have been too big of a stop loss for us at least. So I would have entered at the close of the bearish engulfment. Let's actually back test one more candle here. And this would be our entry candle. So let me squeeze this. Here I would have market executed just like this on the close of this sell candle. And I probably would have covered the whole entire POI. With NAS, you always want to leave, I always leave 5 pips for spread, so 17.2. That would lead us to 22.2 for spread. So let's just call it 22.1 for now. And you would be targeting the week low, okay? So going back to the 15-minute, you'd be targeting this low ultimately down here. Now, is it going to reach this low during this session? We don't know. We still expect this low to go because we are bearish on the 4-hour. You always want to be pro 4-hour trend if you're taking shorts, obviously. So let's go ahead and put our target here. That would make it just about 1 to 17. And let's see how this runs. Okay, so right away, I like the movement. And there were a few more. Yeah, this was a flip entry as well. So you could have also gotten in at this range-based supply as well if you did miss the original move. We were in that trading on gold already, so I didn't even bother trying to take another one. But this is a totally valid sell as well because you have a break in structure. We'll mark that as a BOS. And ultimately, this was the supply that caused that break in structure. So this would have been a totally valid entry as well. Let's keep playing this market. So at this point, we are way past 5R. So I would have been taking partials at 5R, just around here, probably 50% off. I like to take heavy partials at either 3R or 5R, depending on how the trade is moving. In this particular case, it probably would have been 50% off at 5R. That would have secured us a 2.5. And I'm not going to get into the rest of the management because that is mentorship stuff. But yeah, we can go ahead back to our 15 and let's just see how this moved. Okay, so we have a little bit of a pullback. And ultimately we take the week low, and that is your 1 to 17. So yeah, if you guys were able to gain some value out of this, please like and comment, and any videos idea you have, any video ideas you have, feel free to just leave them in the comment section below. Your support means the most to me, and I love hearing feedback from you guys. So like I said, if you want to see more stuff like this and you really want to take your trading to the next level, click the link in the description on my website. The mentorship, it's $60 a month USD, and yeah, we'll get you on track. So yep, this has been Samson FX. As always, good luck and good trading, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.